Welcome to BRiGHTSiDE. This is Janice.
This is Samantha.
And this is Ghost.
Today, our podcast is about our review of Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. We will be giving our review of the best-selling novel by Gabrielle Nevin.
Okay. Around page 120, I found it so uncomfortable to read when Dove demanded Sadie to take off her clothes. He's so weird. To take off his clothes, even though she didn't want to. Like it was so weird that Dove didn't care about Sadie's feelings at all and made her very uncomfortable. Especially in the next page 121 of Influences, it says, quote, after a date had what Sadie considered to be quick, enjoyable prop-free sex, Dove opened his nightstand drawer and snapped a handcuff around her wrist and another to the bed frame.
Oh, hell no!
It happened so quickly, she didn't have time to protest. End of quote. I found this part of the book to be so weird and uncomfortable to read. Dove, he's like a really weird guy. I don't think he should be teaching people if he's gonna be this weird to his student. And he's definitely someone I won't feel safe and comfortable to be around. He didn't even ask Sadie if it was alright if he could handcuff her wrist onto the bed frame. Instead, he just did it like without permission, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna say mine now, and it's about Dove. And one thing that happened, he pushed her down in the bed and he pushed his tongue into her mouth.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
She lied there limply on page 152. And during that, he started to guilt trip her into making her feel like something was wrong with her and saying that she didn't have friends. And all Dove is showing signs of a narcissist, being weird. And he wouldn't have sex without her consent, but he felt free to make her uncomfortable and embarrass her. That was just nasty. Like, he was a father and he was married, but flirting and dating other women.
Ugh. Brother, ugh.
Because he hated his marriage. I think I want to talk about Sam now. He made this comment saying, it's so funny, you should say like this because if you were one of my students, you'd be wearing your pain like a badge of honor. This generation doesn't hide anything from anyone. And also, my class talks a lot about their traumas and how their traumas inform their games. And I feel like him saying this was referencing the games that him and Sadie were making and what they were about.
The way I feel about the book, it's like, let me read some of these quotes so I can show you how I feel. I feel like, okay, so this first quote is on page 30, and it says, Sadie had designed the mechanic of the game to be like Tetris, a game for which Dove had expressed admiration. I feel like this book shows how validation in the game industry is like important to like, especially to women, but like to all people who are making a game because they want people to want to want to play their game and they want people to play it and buy it and you know what I'm saying? Like they want their stuff to blow up. So I feel like this book helps me like see that validation is very important in the gaming industry. Another quote was, she looked unshowered. Her MIT sweatshirt had reddish and whitish stains on it, and even though the sweatshirt was baggy, he could tell that she was unusually thin underneath. This kind of shows how deep the book, this kind of helps me show how deep the book goes into describing how far the characters would go to make a book and how it really like impacted them, yet they kept going and kept making the book. It shows how like during most of the gaming process, Sam was unkept and wasn't really doing good, but nobody cared because she was making a game. Another quote I have is, with a major assist from Dobbs' Ulysses engine, Sadie and Sam had programmed Ichigo nonstop until their fingers bled. I think this also shows the lengths that they would go to produce a game, and it just shows the details that the author Gabriel Nevin went into to like include personal accounts into the book. Maybe not personal accounts, but like things that could actually happen.
I feel like this book is crazy and nasty. And the feeling is worse because I know that ninth graders in college actually go through this, like the professor hitting on them and even taking advantage of them because they're mentally immature but legally of age.
Personally, I think this book made me feel so uncomfortable to read sometimes, especially when reading about Dove and Sadie's relationship. Like, Dove is such a weird, creepy professor messing around with his student while he's married and has, well, how many kids? Like, 1, 2?
I think 1.
And,
That's crazy.
bro. But there are some parts of the book where I found interesting to read and found some parts to be relatable as well.
Personally, I think this book, it made me feel a lot of things, if I'm being honest. Like, I felt uncomfortable, kind of bored. Like, I was low-key intrigued at some parts, and then it just made me think, like, a lot more. I felt uncomfortable when I was reading about Sam and Dobbs' relationship because, like, he's a grown man messing with I don't care how old she is, bro. That's just gross, like, either way. And he's, like, a father with a and it just, like, it was crazy and intense. I didn't expect that, and it just felt wrong, bro. And then I felt bored reading the beginning parts of the book because, like, it felt so long and all the pages, like, felt long. But in the end, it made me, like when after I finished reading it, I was like, all these pages were low-key needed because, like, you know, it helped describe the book more and helped me understand it. Like, I was intrigued a lot of times in the book because the chapters gave more context as to why the characters acted how they do. Like, and if going back to page 38, I learned that Sam and Sadie were met in the hospital and were known each other for a longer time, and then they met up in the train station and became friends. Like, if that part wasn't added, we never would have known that Sam and Sadie went back. And, like, it just made me think more about how the gaming industry does things and how they get their games going.
What I learned from this book was that a lot of people haven't healed from their childhood traumas, and it shows in the book. That's it.
What I learned from this book is how well it does describe how trauma could affect certain people, how people cope in different ways, good or bad.
I learned, like, more about the gaming community and more words to add to my vocabulary. And it also made me think about how people get accused of sleeping with coworkers just for doing a good job, which is crazy and unfair to women in the workspace.
This is the end of our podcast and our opinions about tomorrow. Thank you for listening to our podcast.